Hey guys, thanks for joining me. Julian here from synthwavepro.com. In this tutorial, let's tackle some easy and some complex ways of implementing some transitional sweeps throughout our song. All right, so let's do the easy way first, but first let's play the song. So I think at about bar 16 or 17, I think we should introduce a little sweep. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll be sound designing this from scratch, nothing too complex. I'm going to go ahead and create a MIDI channel. Let's go ahead and call this channel sweep. And I am going to bring in an instance of Serum. If you're using another DAW or if you're using another synth, then you're welcome to follow along. It's all fundamental. So first thing I want to do here is lower the volume. I'm going to turn to Serum and disable the oscillator A. I don't need it. What I really need, however, is the noise generator right over here. So I'm activating that. I'm also going to activate my filter, disable the routing for oscillator A, and engage the noise generator routing here. So now our noise generator, which is essentially pumping out some white noise, will be going through the filter. Okay, the next thing I like to do is turn our attention to, let's say, between bar 15 and 19 here. I'm going to create a MIDI region and select a note, any random note. It doesn't have to be C3 or C#3, could be any note, and hit that legato button. This extends the note to the end of our MIDI clip region here. Okay, so this is what we have so far. Let me focus on this sweep. All right, simple white noise. Let me turn up the volume in case you don't hear that. Nothing too special. And of course, the easy way of going about this would be to simply automate some, breakpoints here. So our filter starts really low and then gradually opens up. We can even crank up the resonance here, and then it comes down. So let's play and hear what this sounds like in context. I know that for many of you, this is very rudimentary, but I'll show you another way of doing this shortly. All right, we can even go in here and jazz this up a little by adding a few more effects. And let's have a quick listen. That's not too bad. We can increase the decay here and boost up the size. Might as well give it a bit of attitude by adding a little chorus here. All right, easy peasy stuff. I'll play it one last time before moving on to another way of doing this, and let's play it for context. Okay, so that was a fairly easy way of implementing a transitional sweep. You hear this all the time in house music and trance music. Do people still listen to trance? I certainly do. But anyways, nothing too complicated. All right, so now I'm going to show you another way that you can create your own sweeps that have a little more character to them. All right, so what I'm going to do here is mute the sweep we've just created. And I'm going to go ahead and create an entirely new audio channel here. I'm going to color this guy and call him source. And then I'm going to go hunting for, let's say, a snare hit. It could be a snare hit that's an individual hit, or it can be a snare hit that's part of a loop. So let me lower the volume and solo this sample. All right, rock drums. Let me unwarp this guy here. And I'm really more concerned with the final hits. Nice. All right. So let me truncate the file here. And all I'm working with is this final hit, the snare hit. Okay, I am going to get rid of that little blip at the end, that clip sound. Cool. That's all we need. The next thing I want to do is bring in a reverb, and I'm going to rely on Ableton's reverb unit here. So I'm going to bring that on over. I'm going to select the quality mode to high. I'm going to bump up the dry wet, and I am definitely going to be bumping up that decay time to, let's say, even 14, 15 seconds. Sounds like a nice hall, like a nice cave, right? Cool. So the next thing I want to do here is focus our attention on the freeze function here. And when I click on the freeze, whatever signal is going through that reverb unit will just keep playing. It'll be sustained indefinitely. All right. And that's exactly what we want to do. What we want to do is turn this snare hit into a long sort of white noise generator. So let's go ahead and click on the freeze control here. I'm going to enable the automation lane. And I'm simply going to pencil in where I want my freeze button to sort of activate. So halfway through the sample, I'm going to make sure that the freeze pops on, and I'm going to make sure that, it carries on for quite a number of seconds here. As you can see that this is a long period of time. So let's go ahead and see what this sounds like. Nice cave, right? May even get rid of this because I want the top end. Ooh, that bad boy is going on forever. All right, cool. So what I want to do right now is actually sample this. I think it's a great sound that we can repurpose, and I'll show you how to go ahead and do that. First things first, let's go ahead and create yet another audio channel. I'm going to call this resample. And I'm going to make sure that it's set to resampling. All right. So whatever sounds right now are coming out of this channel will go through our master fader, and then this sample or resample channel will be recording it. But first, let me go ahead and disable my master chain here because I want to record this signal in its purest form without the stuff on the master channel. All right. So let's go ahead and record this right now. I'm going to arm my track. There we go. It's recording. You know, it's always a great idea to work with audio files. I know sometimes EDM producers just stick with MIDI files, but you can generate a lot of creative sounds when it comes to using audio files. And so there we go. We're almost done. I think we have more than enough. All right. So I'm going to turn back to the resample channel here, set it to no input. I think we're good. And I'll be reactivating my master chain here real quick. All right. And let's play what we have so far. Cool. A rather lengthy sample. Okay. So now that we've got this going on, it doesn't sound at all like a usable sound. So we'll have to do some adjusting. So let's go ahead and slide this in the area we actually want to use it in, which is about here, right? Bar 15 to maybe 17. The next thing I want to do here is bring in a delay, but specifically a grain delay plugin. A plugin that's not widely used, but I love this guy. I think if you're into sound design, this is a great tool with which you can create some pretty interesting sounds. So this is what this sounds like when the grain delay is active. And this is what we're going for here. I'm taking my mouse and manually doing this. Pretty cool. So first thing I want to do here is perhaps, just record this as is, right? So I am going to manipulate this yellow circle here, and we're just going to literally record this. I'm going to enable the record button, and as the song plays, I'm just going to ramp it up in a logarithmic way. So it's going to go to the right and then slowly ramp upwards, and then I'm going to slide it down. We can always edit that curve later on, but let's go ahead and do that right now. All right, so you can see the timing was totally off, and I don't want to re-record this because in case you make this mistake, I want you to see how I would fix it. So obviously it's, you know, I missed the boat here. We'll lower the volume. All right, so it needs some work. So what I would do here is probably bring our guy a little further back and give this one more whirl. All right, not entirely satisfied with that sound. So what I'm gonna do is just manually do this. So what I'm gonna do is delete my breakpoints and just use the sort of digital breakpoints. It's a lot more easier to manipulate, okay? So initially I wanted to record this by manipulating this yellow circle here. So you can see, you know, this is how you go hunting for textures in your sounds, in your songs. If you want to add some white noise and some smoky haze to a particular passage, this is how I would go ahead and do that, all right? So let's go ahead and play this. I am now manipulating the frequency control here. And of course, if I click on this, this would be the pitch, okay? And this is also giving us a little problem. So let me go ahead and delete this and just use the breakpoints to carve in a sort of rise and fall. All right, so let's play this and see if we can get it just right. All right, that sounds a little more usable to me. All right, I think we have our guy here, our original source material. I'm just gonna delete that, but this is what it sounds like. Cool. All right, so I think this is a usable sound. So let's go ahead and treat this a little more. I don't like the beginning of this section here. Yeah, so what I'm gonna do here is just pull in the automation points here so that the volume kind of ramps in gradually. All right, there's definitely some type of flutter at the beginning of the sample. Yeah, all of that stuff. All right, so we're probably gonna have to come in here and make some adjustments here, okay? Let me see if we can clean this up a little more. It's sort of unpredictable. That's the cool thing with using the grain delay. You can spend a lot of time coming in here and designing a sound. So now this has a lot to do with the pitch control here. I think that could be a cool sound effect. The fact that it's strafing from the left and to the right. Let's go ahead and play this in context. All right, that's not a bad sound at all. Okay, so this needs a bit of work, but I would probably use the utility here to quiet down this unwanted section. And this is part of sound designing. You sort of get rid of the unwanted stuff and highlight the stuff you definitely want. All right, let's play this in context. Okay, might even nudge this a little to the right. All right, so that's not too bad. Let's see if we can brighten up our sample right over here. I'm just gonna boost the top end, maybe even compress the snot out of it, so that's sort of in your face. Okay, let's play that one more time, get the volume right, get rid of the low end here. All right, we're getting there. We're getting there. I'm going to reduce the come down, if you will, to ramp down a little faster. All right, there we go. That's something definitely usable. If you want, you can even add in another reverb here. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's have some fun. And let's give this another whirl and see what this sounds like. Let's change this from eco to high quality. Bump up the decay time. All right, I'm going to set the reverb right before the utility here, and also make sure that when we come out of it, we don't have it trailing on for too long. We really don't need it to go this far. I'm just going to disable this part of the sample. Cool. All right, let's go ahead and play this again. All right, I think that sounds like a very usable sweep. And, you know, the cool thing is that we're not doing the typical sweep that you hear in a lot of songs. This one has a little bit of attitude. All right, so obviously you'd have to come in here and make some more adjustments and tinker with the utility, but you do get some really cool textures when using the grain delay. This is really, I guess, a grain delay tutorial, if you will. You know, I mean, I'm so tired of hearing the typical sweeps in songs and over again. And so, you know, I think part of being an artist is really coming up with your own sort of signature ways of varying sounds that you hear a lot in EDM music. All right, there we go. I think that's something that we can definitely use in a production. All right, so thanks to the power of video editing, I've actually gone ahead and made a few changes here. I'm going to share them with you. That way you don't have to sit there and watch me tediously tweak this sound. One of the most noticeable things here is the inclusion of another EQ. This one is getting rid of those lower frequencies as we are smashing it and we're sort of raising that noise floor. I've added a chorus and of course the reverb. I've tweaked the reverb to give it a longer decay. And I've made it a lot wetter here by increasing it to about 75%. And as for the grain delay, I think one of the most important things before I forget here is that I've manipulated the dry wet control here. Remember, we had it set to 100%, and now we actually have it set to 100% for half of the sample, and then slowly we have that sort of ratio down to about 70%. Okay, so let's give this a shot and see what it sounds like now. All right, I think that sounds like a really, really cool sweep. Let's play the original we had created with Serum. Nothing's wrong with that, so let's go ahead and play that one and make some comparisons. All right, it's not bad, it's pretty plain. And let's try the ones we've just created here. All right, so I think both of these sweeps do work. It's just a matter of taste. And hey, at least now you know another way of creating a sweep. But don't be afraid to experiment with this grain delay plugin. It's really a tutorial on the grain delay plugin. I think it offers a lot of versatility, especially if you are into sound design and you sort of want to repurpose a lot of the sounds that you hear in EDM. You can always apply your signals to the grain delay plugin, and you should come up with some really, really cool creations. All right, so that's it for this tutorial, guys. I just wanted to share this tip with you guys. If you found it useful, go ahead and give me a like. If you want some more synthwave tutorials, go ahead and click that notification button, subscribe to the channel. And with that said, stay safe, and I will see you next time.